Good thing. So if we have statements A and B, we can have different values for them. We'll list out all the combinations. Either can be either 1 or 0. So 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0 are the options. And then OR in logic, what it does is, if we have two statements and they interact with the OR, if at least one of them is 1, that OR will generate the 1. And for AND, if both of them are 1, then that AND generates a 1. Otherwise, they generate zeros for all the other cases, both of them. So let's see how this goes. So as I said, A or B is 1 when at least one of them is 1. And before we actually do that, let's focus on why we're doing it. The reason is, we have this very complicated expression right here, alright? And it has a lot of interactions with the logical statements. What we can do is look at this part by itself and this part by itself. And we'll basically reduce this and this into ones and zeros themselves. And then we'll have 4 rows of what we'll just be inputting two values of either zeros or ones combinations on this AND statement. Alright, so we'll go slow in order to get closer to this in an easy manner. So let's take care of these 3 columns first, and then it will be far easier for us to evaluate this final one. Alright, so this is an option that one can use when one is dealing with a complicated thing. One has the values for A and B, or wants to see for when A is 1 and B is 0, what is the result for this? And the same for all the other cases. Well, one can either manipulate this with logical rules, or if one just wants to use the values gradually, one can get these 3 extra columns as helping columns, and then one can get the final result far easier. So we're doing that now. Alright, so A or B, if OR does that, if either of them is 1, then the result is 1. Otherwise it's 0 if neither of them is 1, or both are 0 in other words. 1 or 0, 1, 1, both are even, still 1 and 0. Right, and this is A or B, so the previous statement that we just did, with a negation bar. That means we invert it. When there's a 1, then there's going to be a 0, and vice versa. So we will have this. For the third column, we're doing AND is a little bit more restrictive as far as what gets a 1 granted, sort of. That means that if we have A and B going into the AND, both have to be 1 in order for the result to be 1, otherwise it's a 0 as a result. So this is a 0, this is a 0, only this is a 1, and this is a 0 again, alright? We need both to be 1 in order for the result to be 1. Otherwise, it's a 0. So now we got these 3 columns. But what we need really is these 2, because we did the A or B in order to more easily get the A or B. So we need these 2 now. And we'll use them in order to evaluate this. So this one is this one, this one is this one. Okay, it's second to locate it there. And now we'll be using AND between the 2. So now we're no longer having to look at A, B, or A and B right here or here. We're only looking at this as another new statement. Let's call it C and D, right? So this is C and D. We can do that way. We can look at it that way. We'll only be looking now at zeros and ones to get the result for this one. So we can really imagine this is C and this is D, and this is C and this is D. Or we can just look at the columns and look at the zeros and ones to work with those directly here. So we have an AND statement between them, just like we did with A and B. So both have to be 1 in order for the result to be 1. So let's see when that happens. Well, actually, it never does, it seems, because there's never 1 in both cases. So it's 0, 0, 0, 0. Alright? So that means that this statement generates a 0 for any combination of values A, B being both 1 or both 0 or only one of them being 1. In all the 4 cases, this big statement gave a 0.